interpreted. Is that the correct reaction, that you didn't mind the show?
I didn't mind it at all. In fact, I found it rather pleasant, very, very gentle, nice wallpaper. It was pretty. It really annoys me when people have commented after, well, the pylon of criticisms annoyed me. But people said, well, where was the substance? Where was the substance? This is a lifestyle show. It's frilly, it's frothy, it's pleasant. Oh, it's like sitting there having honey dribble in your mouth. I mean, what do you expect? What kind of substance? And I was pleasantly surprised. I watched it because I was doing a radio interview about it immediately afterwards. I've only watched the first one. And I thought, well, this is quite interesting. I even picked up one or two little tips, you know. It was interesting to watch Meghan making candles, which she hadn't done before. I thought it was most interesting. You know, you have bath bombs, and if you put a bath bomb in, you get all that stuff that comes out of it, all the flowery bits and everything gets stuck down your plug hole, and you've got to clean the bath. Well, she decided to put all those bits and pieces in a little bag, little tea bag with a ribbon, and put that in your bath. That's quite clever, isn't it? So I don't understand why everyone in the media seems to have decided to say it's absolutely the worst thing ever on television. I thought it was quite charming. Good on her.
You spent a lot more time than most people with Princess Diana, which of course I'm very, very envious of. Can you imagine Diana doing something like this, or is this not necessarily the path she would have gone down?
No, I don't think Diana would have done anything like this. Not because it was beneath her, but because she had different. She did have rather more serious ideas and campaigns, perhaps. But this is what Meghan Markle, as she was good at before she met Harry. I mean, she was an influencer. She was a stylist or a lifestyle guru. She was doing very well, and she's gone back, as she says, to her roots. Why are we knocking her? Why are people making all these unpleasant headlines and knocking her? I just think, I think it's become quite...
Hey, Royal Fam! Welcome back to the Royal Chronicles, your go-to spot for all things Harry and Meghan Sussex, with a whole lot of truth and a sprinkle of royalty. Okay, so today we're talking about something that's been buzzing louder than a Buckingham Palace corgi on espresso. Yep, it's the media meltdown over Meghan Sussex's latest show and podcast. And let me tell you, the negativity? Off the charts. But here's the twist. While some tabloids are practically foaming at the mouth trying to drag her down, Jennie Bond, former BBC royal correspondent, yes, the Jennie Bond who's seen more tiaras than your local jewellery store, stepped up with some serious common sense. And honestly, it's about time someone with real experience called out this nonsense. Jennie was like, hold up, y'all. Why is everyone acting like Meghan Sussex invented glitter bombs and set fire to Buckingham? She watched the show and said it was pleasant, gentle, charming. Basically like having a cosy cup of tea while Meghan makes bath bombs. And speaking of those bath bombs, I mean, did you hear about the genius move where Meghan put all the floaty bits into a tea bag so they don't clog your tub? That's right. Meghan Sussex is out here saving your plumbing and your self-care routine. But nah, the tabloids want to act like she committed a royal crime. Please. Jennie even pointed out the ridiculous double standard. Like, why is Meghan Sussex getting roasted for being herself? She literally went back to her roots. She's doing what she's always been great at: lifestyle, inspiration, empowerment. Meanwhile, the media's acting like she should be solving world hunger between diaper changes. Let's be real. If Meghan Sussex cured the common cold, the Daily Fail would headline it, Meghan destroys traditional medicine with woke agenda. And don't even get me started on the people saying, where's the substance? It's just lifestyle fluff. Excuse me, you tuned into a lifestyle show. You wanted it to be 60 minutes? Go watch 60 Minutes. That's like ordering a cupcake and complaining it's not a steak. Jennie also made it crystal clear Diana wouldn't have done exactly this kind of show. Not because it's beneath her, but because Diana had different causes. But guess what? That's the beauty of it. Meghan's not copying Diana, she's being herself. And that's what drives the haters mad. A woman living authentically, confidently, unapologetically. The fact that every time Meghan Sussex opens her mouth, the British tabloids act like they've seen a ghost. That says more about them than it does about her. And honestly, If the press spent half as much time focusing on actual issues instead of obsessing over Meghan's every move, maybe we'd all be a little better off. You know, while the tabloids are busy writing 500 headlines about Meghan holding her baby wrong or daring to smile at a camera, Meghan herself has been quietly and sometimes very loudly building an absolute empire outside of the royal family. And let me tell you, it's impressive. Let's start with the big one. Her work in women's empowerment. Before she ever married Harry, Meghan was out here doing the work. Remember her powerful speech at the United Nations Women's Conference in 2015? That wasn't some PR move, it was the culmination of a lifetime of advocacy. She stood on that stage and said, "I am proud to be a woman and a feminist." How many duchesses have walked into Buckingham Palace already wearing that badge? Not many. But oh, the British press will conveniently erase that entire speech and pretend she just wanted to be famous. Please. Then came the Archewell Foundation. Together with Harry, Meghan launched this powerhouse organisation dedicated to driving systemic cultural change. Through Archewell, they've funded mental health resources, women's shelters, vaccine equity programmes, you name it. And they're not just slapping their name on it for good press, they're rolling up their sleeves, sitting in on Zoom calls, writing grants, doing the real work. Meanwhile, the tabloids are writing think pieces about her nail polish colour. Let's talk about archetypes, shall we? Her podcast shot straight to #1 on Spotify in over 40 countries. Yes, you heard me. While her critics were calling her talentless and irrelevant, her voice reached millions, sparking conversations about labels that hold women back. From Serena Williams to Mariah Carey, Meghan brought on powerhouse guests and tackled everything from ambition to stereotypes to the impossible standards women are forced to meet. And you just know the haters were fuming every time another episode climbed the charts. And how about Netflix? The Harry and Meghan docuseries became Netflix's biggest documentary debut ever. Think about that, the biggest documentary debut. They broke records, love them or hate them, people tuned in, and not just out of curiosity, but because Meghan and Harry dared to tell their story on their own terms. That's what the press really hates, that they couldn't control the narrative anymore. And don't even get me started on the Emmy buzz that Doc got. I'm telling you, Meghan is not playing small. Let's not forget her literary side. Her children's book, The Bench, debuted as a New York Times bestseller. Some mocked it, called it simplistic, yet it landed right on that bestseller list. Why? Because it's a beautiful, heartfelt story about the bond between fathers and sons, inspired by a poem she wrote for Harry. The critics, they couldn't stand that either. Imagine being mad at a woman for writing a poem for her husband and kid, the levels of bitterness truly. And don't overlook her fashion impact. The SmartWorks capsule collection she designed didn't just make headlines, it made a difference. Every item bought resulted in one donated to women re-entering the workforce. This wasn't about flashy celebrity fashion, it was about using style to empower women economically. But sure, Karen from Kensington will still tell you Meghan was just in it for the clothes. Yeah, the clothes that got women hired. Through all this, Meghan has faced a media storm most of us couldn't imagine. Lies, invasions of privacy, racist dog whistles, you name it, they threw it at her. But instead of retreating, she's building. Every insult hurled her way, she turns it into fuel. Meghan's out here building schools, funding vaccines, uplifting women, and what are her critics building? Twitter threads. That's it. So, while the tabloids continue their circus, Meghan Sussex continues her mission. Bigger, bolder and stronger than ever. And as Jennie Bond rightly pointed out, it's about time people recognise that, instead of reducing her to tabloid caricatures. So shout out to Jennie Bond for being a voice of reason in the chaos. Sometimes all it takes is one person to stand up and say, enough. And today, Jennie did exactly that. And to the haters, y'all can stay mad, because Meghan Sussex is booked, busy, moisturised, unbothered, glowing, thriving. And guess what? She's not going anywhere. And neither are we. So if you love seeing Harry and Meghan Sussex live their best lives and you're tired of the media dragging them down, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash that like and drop a super thanks to keep the Royal Chronicles going strong. We're here to tell the truth, sip the tea and lift up the Sussexes, because this is the royal coverage they deserve. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and stay Team Harry and Meghan Sussex.